Hello, good evening. Welcome to my little broadcast. It's one of those. Am I on here willingly, or is there somebody sort of stood holding a gun to my head, going, "Perform, monkey boy, or there's going to be trouble"? Right. Part truth, part imagination. Yet again with me. I sat here over the last few months and been quite reluctant to come onto Facebook because I've been a little bit frustrated with it all and the seeming lack of progress and as I was saying on last night's one, the infighting and the backbiting. I've got a bit disillusioned with it all. And then I started looking at other people's profiles and things like that and looking and going, well, unless you put the amount of effort that they've put into their channels and things like that, well, you're never going to get any better. And if you're not going to actually make any effort to do anything, then you can't sit there and be fed up that you're not making anything or you're not doing anything. So Mrs. P went, right, get yourself on and start working on it again. I'm like, oh, there's a whole raft of reasons why I just can't be asked. But ultimately, I shouldn't need threatening. I should need to just sort of come down, crack on, and get on with it. But the one thing that you're not going to get from me tonight, and it must be the time of the year because the manager's made an appearance. So Kevin the Carrot is there directing traffic. I'm not allowed to utter this new year, new me bollocks, right? Because quite simply, I'm a grumpy git at the best of times. And that's not going to change any. I'm not going to change my reading style. All I wanted to do was just come on here, provide a little bit of humour. And if anybody wants a card reading or anything like that, please let me know before we get started on anything. And I'm talking about Facebook particularly. I've linked this into YouTube tonight, but if anybody comes on offering you readings or asking for your private details or anything like that from Facebook, please understand that I cannot and would not send out friends requests. I don't do free readings other than on this broadcast. And I'm not going to canvass you for money because unless you ask me for a reading price. And I do those when you contact me, I don't contact you. I do not tout for business in that way. It's not in my interest and it's not in my morals either. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Jane. So I just sort of come on here and I was having my walk this morning with the dogs in the cold. And I was thinking about how my year's going to go. You know, what effort am I going to put in? What intent am I going to set out there? Well, I'm going to be working for a number of different promotions and promoters that have all got their own ideas. They've all got their own pricing structures. They've all got this. And this is where this lone wolf thing came in. I'm happy to jump in with everybody to look so that I can look after my family. But I don't really particularly follow or endorse anybody else. I just do what I do because you guys watching out there, however many there is, and I did repeat this last night, whether it's 1 or 101, is I'm out here working for you. But the idea where I got for myself, where I wanted a little bit of stuff for myself, is I'm going to start looking after my own self-esteem and my own well-being. I spent a lot of time last year trying to fit into people's little profiles and I'm feeling privileged because you're giving me part of your time, and this is organisers. And then I thought, why am I doing that? Right. At the end of the day, I am a viable person on my own. I speak the truth all of the time, and it does make me smile when you get these critics because I don't ask these critics to come to me, right? They seem to want to sort of put their need upon you to, tell you what you're doing is not genuine or anything like that. Well, I've truthfully never done anything like that. I tell people the truth as I feel it, right? Whether I'm right or wrong, that bit I can't control, right? My interpretation of the energies that I work with are given quite freely and quite honestly. So what I was thinking about as I was walking about this morning, I went off track there a little bit, was I've watched a lot of people on here who have varying success with the formats of their shows and things like that. Do you know what I'd like to be? Is just like when I stick this on, it's not really a podcast. And it's not really got that much format, but just like when you interact with your audience, just having that sort of spiritual chat show. So you'll get people on here that want a tarot reading, a general tarot reading. You will get somebody on here that might want something specific. And what I've been finding, it's really made me laugh, is that people have been coming to me for love readings and love guidance and things like that. Right, let me be honest and open with however many people are watching this. When it comes to relationships, I am the luckiest bloke in the world because Mrs. P puts up with all of my shit, right? All of my loopy moods and all of my ideas, right? So to turn around and tell another person how to look after and maintain their relationships, you asked me a straightforward question when you sat there telling me that they've done this to you and they've done that to you. Guess whose side I'm going to be on? Yours, right? Because I ain't got any knowledge. I ain't got a clue, right? But that's just me being me. So I wanted to do the spiritual chat show side of it, and I want it to run just as it needs to run. I want to bring in humor and upliftment and things like that. And last year was concentrated on making sure the studio was set up right, that everybody was pleased with everything that I've got, people pleasing, right? But I placed a huge amount of pressure on myself to be that particular character, right? Come and meet me at home or at one of the shows. I'm exactly the same. I can be a grumpy, moody bugger. But at the end of the day, what my interest in is dealing with clients, bringing a little bit of upliftment in, maybe just bouncing some of their thoughts back on me so I can reflect on that for them and maybe help them see which direction that they're going in. So I just thought, when I come on here, instead of like trying to be this character, just come on, do what I do, right? I have a genuine love and a genuine passion for all of the work that I do. It's not about my ego. And if it was about the money, I'd be proper fecked about now, because it doesn't make enough to turn around and go, look at me, darling, I'm absolutely wonderful. I just genuinely want to get out there and help as many people as I can. So whether it's getting through grief or trauma or your own spiritual development, I've just got this big bag of enthusiasm for other people's stuff. I suppose I'm just a nosy git, really, that just wants to poke my nose into people's business. But to give you a brief explanation for those of you that don't know me, I do shows around the East Midlands region. I get down as far as Stafford, and I get far north as Newcastle, and I travel all over the Midlands doing psychic shows and things like that. And I do my own readings as well on here, and I can put details on as we get into this broadcast. £35 for a 30 to 35 minute reading using tarot and angel cards and intuition. And if you want more sort of structured guidance, which is NLP and traits of hypnotherapy and intuition there and helping you timeline and structure and things like that, then that is £50 for an hour. You ask me for that, by the way. And again, I'm repeating myself from the beginning that I do not send out requests from my Facebook page. If you want to like and support my pages, then thank you very much, because being a small business, every little bit helps. Promoting and all that sort of thing, which, to be honest, at 52 years of age isn't my strongest forte. My gob is, right? You either like me or you don't. I can, as I say, I can be a grumpy bugger, but I absolutely love doing what I'm doing. How does it work? Well, there's the thing. Two ways of looking at it. Psychic mediumship. Now, I've noticed on there that I've got a wonderful medium that's on here, himself, who is absolutely brilliant at what he does. Concentrates very much on the mediumship style and working with the actual energy. And he may see people and he may visualize and things like that. I don't. Right, it's what I call Monkey FM. It all tunes in up there. I draw to your name, I draw to your energy, and then I just basically give whatever comes down the tube and straight out of my mouth. No filter. I give it because that's what I'm feeling. So I'm quite sensitive in regards to energy. Then the other thing is that I'll just get these random feelings, right? These leanings towards things, and I'll pull a card, and then hopefully the card will give me clarity to pass on whatever the message is. And then you look at people's wording and how they speak when they put things on there. Their photograph might just tweak me into something, right? And I am not interested in being right. Don't care. Really don't, right? I want you to get the best service from this energy interaction as we're going along. And let's have a bit of fun along the way. So just a couple of comments here. Thank you. That's always the aim. It really is. Happy 2025 to you as well, Janet. Thank you very much. Steve, if you get the opportunity to see Steve and his events there, go and see him, because I've not been to see him yet, but I'm going to rectify that in 2025. I'm a man of my word. I will get to see you, Steve, but his reputation is huge. And the fact that he's coming onto my little program and helping, spread the word of me, then I'm very grateful for that as well. Right. Let me just answer that one. I've just seen it's just popped up there. Where's the waistcoat? Right. Loving the new look. Happy. Right. I'm a big fan of Cornwall. Right. My spiritual home is Cornwall. I've been visiting Cornwall for the last 20 plus years. I think my daughter's 26 this year, and we've been going before she was even conceived. And Fat Willie's, the sweatshirt, I started out with one that I bought in 1990, I think 1990 something, when we first went down there. And it's gone on from there. And where I felt most comfortable last year, where I was really struggling, was that I felt the need to hide away. I felt the energies were overwhelming. I was struggling to get out and about. Other than show days, I really struggled with it. So this is my comfort blanket. Right? It might look ridiculous to other people, but when you realize that to do all of this, it can be quite energetically draining. So it's like my safe space. When I want to withdraw, and I've done a show or I've done a lot of readings or a lot of energy interactions, there's just sometimes I want to withdraw. The waistcoat is the professional image. But again, also when you're doing it, when you're in your home, it's not always practical to get everything done, iron a shirt, get the waistcoat on, because I want to look a certain way. Again, Kevin says it's all right that I do it every now and again where I don't make that much of an effort to get changed, but this is really about me testing myself again and getting back on live again, because I promised I would do them and then sort of fell short of them over the year, just because of last year for me mentally was really, really difficult. So I took myself back in last night, didn't announce it, did probably 10 or 11 readings, and it was all right. So tonight I thought, right, I'd link in YouTube. Now, whether there's anybody on from YouTube, I don't know, but it's like propelling energy towards me YouTube again as well. Right. So are you doing Newark? Yes, I am. And I believe that is the 16th and 17th of February at the Newark Showground, where I will be doing my readings. I'm also scheduled to do a talk, but as yet I haven't 100% settled on the theme. It might be because my randomness every now and again will throw something into my head that I feel that's most prominent that I need to talk about. But I do enjoy doing the talks because, to be truthful, when I step into that character, I just like showing off. So yes, I shall be doing both days there. Got married while living in Newquay. Well, yeah, absolutely amazing. I'm not drawn so much now to the sort of commercial side of things. I go into Newquay Town Centre, do my business, get my sweatshirts, get my T-shirts and what have you. And we sort of are around the outskirts, but I do love the whole scenic thing now. I'm turning into a right boring old fart because I like walking. I like being around the scenery and just taking time out in that beautiful energies down there. St Nectan's Glen is a place that I always make an effort to visit because it breaks up that 340 mile journey. But if somebody said to me, right, tomorrow you're going to get the weekend down there, I'd drive that 340 mile each way willingly. I really would, because I just love it down there. Cornwall, favourite place to be. Brilliant. Right, I say I've been going down there for so long. All my kids know that. Sorry, I seem to be scratching my head a lot. I just feel that I've got quite a lot of energy around my head tonight, and it's buzzing. I don't know who I'm connecting to with this, but we'll find out as we go through. Yes, where are we going there? Right, yes. Yeah. There's also a place when I go down there called Mevagissey, and Mevagissey is an old fishing town. And about 20 years ago, I went down there, and there was all of these sort of modern buildings going up, and I thought it'd lose its character. It's like Padstow. Padstow is Rick Stein's domain down there, and he owns everything, so sort of boutiques and things like that. Whereas you used to have your little buckets and spade shops and places for crabbing and all of that sort of thing. Unfortunately, now they're few and far between. It's like all towns, isn't it? That you can get it much easier. I won't say cheaper, but easier online rather than having to battle your way in. But as I say, we sort of plan around going in for a couple of hours. It's never going to be. I'm not a shopper. I don't like shopping. I cannot deal with crowds anymore. I really struggle with that. So when we go down Cornwall, you know, each day is planned out to go and to try and do something different. You know, try and discover all of these places where the main tourists wouldn't be. So shopping's not on my top 10 list to do things anyway. But yeah, I understand that. Right. Let's get some names coming through here. Me too, love Cornwall and Glastonbury. Right. Glastonbury I tried for the first time last year. Went round there. It was very interesting. The energies were very overpowering. I had some spiritual encounters, and I also had a very strange encounter at one of the wells where I went in there and you just walk in off the street and there's naked people bathing in the pool, which threw me totally for a loop. I'd gone in there in my trunks, and there was some lady that was in the middle of this bathing pool chanting and doing spells and things like that, and then stood up and she was as naked as she was born, and then just proceeded to have a conversation with me like it was the most natural thing in the world. I didn't know where to look. I'm not approved by any means, but it's not something that I regularly encounter. I'm hastily looking around to have a look to see if I've actually wandered into a nudist colony or something like that, but I hadn't. It's just that sort of free-for-all energy that builds up around Glastonbury. Very, very expensive, I thought. A lot of the stuff there is slightly overpriced, but I think you're paying for the environment as well. So we did all of the touristy bits around Glastonbury, and yes, I would make an attempt to return and go back there. Would I make a pilgrimage all of the time? No, not really. It was one of them ticked off and to-do lists. Right, where are we going? Right, so I'm just going to scroll back there, guys. Just make sure I've got everybody there, that I've thanked everybody for coming on, and then we're going to crack on. And hopefully, if you're still here, I know some people do ask for permission, but I just take it that because you've put on here that you want a reading, please let me know if you're still on, and I'll just crack on and do that, and then we'll work our way through. Just see how we go on. All right, so tarot card are Josephine Ellishaw, and I give her the credit because I've used her cards for the last 6 years. The reason that I use her cards is because I find them very simple to interpret, and it just tunes in with my vibration. So, Jackie, if you're still listening, and if you're not, then please tune in at the later on in this on the replay, which I will share at the end. I'm just feeling, again, there seems to have been a lot towards the end of last year where people were struggling to communicate their needs and wishes. And I feel like the beginning of this year is just like a little bit of a hangover for some people, where they're just building up to dealing with any insecurities or any problems or any hassles, or coming into that new year, new me. I know I said I wasn't going to say it, but I've heard it a lot bandied around. Right. What my sense is with you, it's sort of, as my granddad always used to say, putting your foot down with a firm hand, bit of discipline. So planting your feet, right? What is it that you want? What is it that you need? What is it that you want to achieve over the course of 2025? What does your vision, what does your feeling of that actually feel like and look like? And now's as good a time as any to get those things rooted, down, foundations put in place. And then you can gradually start building on. But like anything, until we've actually done the groundworks and got rid of all of the crap and all of the mud and all of the sludge kicking around, we can't build anything. So this is your time, I feel, particularly over these next couple of weeks, of setting your boundaries and also putting out there your goals and your aspirations for 2025. Got a gentleman's energy that comes around you in the spirit world, and if you'll notice as I'm connecting in here, I'm starting to speak a little bit quicker, and I feel quite breathy, and so I've got something going on, and it feels like it's I'm not a medical expert by any means, but I've got something that's coming out from the stomach, and it's coming up through here. So I've got breathing difficulties. I feel quite chesty. My guide is shouting out about emphysema, or some sort of breathing difficulties, bringing this gentleman energy in. Called a spade a spade. not particularly worried about offending anybody or saying anything. Quite a gentle man in the sense of his energy was quite level until you pissed him off. He would send you plenty of warnings, but he wasn't a moody kind of guy. But if he said something, he actually meant it. And he's just coming in and he's just bringing in a warmth for you at the minute. So there's a sense that maybe we've been a little bit flat or we need some upliftment over these last couple of weeks. Something's maybe disappointed you or upset you. He's just bringing in the validation that whatever you've done or said or preparing to say, it's exactly the right time. And you've done well to bite your lip for as long as you have. Right. So let's just see where we're going cards wise. Quite simple. Shuffle. I'll explain how I interpret the card there. 2 cards come out there for you. Right. So remember, not predictions. Right? I don't do predictions because them down there are fleshy and not crystal. If it comes out and you do end up doing whatever, always remember that spirit are non-judgmental and non-coercive, so they won't make your mind up for you. So to bring in anything, you need to make those first exploratory steps or have those agreeing thoughts to whatever it is that you want to achieve. Now, the Knight of Wands. So wands are the fire, the passion. They're the things that the fuel tank that get things driving. Red is all about the root chakra. The root chakra is all about foundations and having a base to build on. This card, interestingly enough, is because it's a knight, it is all about action, because it's firing, it's passionate, that it's like once we agree to it, it starts to come in at speed. This is all about the starting of a long journey. And if anybody was coming to me at the table and asking for a reading and wanting to be specific, am I moving house or is there anything there where I'm going to make big changes to a property or a business or something like that? This is the card that you look for. So there's a degree of excitement with this card in saying that whatever it is that you're looking to move or move on with, then you are well starred with this. But it's like with anything, unless you press the go button, then you stay where you are. You've got to want something more than what you've actually got for things to move forward at a pace. So there's lots of people going, I can't do that, and that doesn't suit me. Right, that's okay. But then in that case, you must be reasonably happy with the way that you live in your life. Because if you're not, you would make effort, you would put more effort and more emphasis into what you do want. So it's one of these things that when people say to me, I want change, well, you've got to ask yourself how much you're willing to give to it to affect that change, because expecting something to be different in 6 months' time just by praying and hoping and, windfall or a lottery or something like that, it's not realistic, is it? So it's just a thought. And we've got temperance. So this is all about balance and moderation. She's known as the alchemist there, that she can bring opposing forces together. She brings in an element of healing and balance around. So if there's anybody within the family circle or relationships, friendships or anything like that, where it's been a little bit frosty or a little bit turbulent, when her energy is coming in, it's just asking you to just take a couple of steps back and just have a look where you need to be with it. It's one of those that I've said many, many times that I've got no malice towards anybody whatsoever these days, because it's too much of an effort for me to carry that. I might disagree with you, I might have a grumble at you, I might have a grump at you, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to wish you harm. I'm just going to move out of the way and crack on with my life. I just don't want to be going round and round about trauma with things and going over things that don't benefit me anywhere down the line. If I can learn anything from it so that I can avoid it in the future, being a pain avoider like I am, then great, I'll get that noted down. But all I suggest to people is that when you've had a bad experience with people or things have ended or you're angry or you're frustrated, is just thank the universe at large for giving you that lesson. Observe whatever it is that you need to learn from it and then move on. Let it go. Don't keep ruminating of it and going back and like reigniting the fire, because the only person who keeps getting burnt when you're in your head that way is yourself. So it's counterproductive. So that makes a bit of sense for you. Right, let's see if there's anybody there or anybody else wants to get there. Would love a card, Kelly. Absolutely. Why not? No, have a laugh, because it's some of the divvy situations that I end up in. And if that's that in reference to that lady that was naked, I didn't know where to look because she was stunningly attractive. I'm in there with my wife And it's one of them. If you're not looking at the person, I don't always take on board what they're saying. So it was like up to this level and making sure that you're focusing on there. Don't let that childish part of you that's going, tee, she's naked, or the embarrassment of being around a rather attractive lady distract you. Plus, my wife's in there, and this is just totally out of my comfort zone. So yeah, you've got to laugh at it. It's great. It's really good fun. All right, Kelly. Lovely to have you back on my Facebook again. Thank you very much. You have been missed, and I had noticed that you'd gone. I was saying that the thing is that the last year that I had, and I'm not trying to compare it with yours or anything like that, is just that I had it really difficult. I felt that 2024 for me wasn't nasty or negative or anything like that, but I felt like mentally I was just keeping my head above water. And what I said on last night's broadcast is I'm so proud. My overall feeling about 2024 was that I made it through, right? Made it through a bit bumped and battered, but I made it through, and I'm still in business for now. So my aspirations for this year are that by the time I get to the end of this year, that I can look back and just say, I'm still in business. I'm still doing the shows. I'm still doing more readings and things like that. And my business is enhancing. But if it's not, make no bones about it. Family first. I will go out and get another job. I'm hoping it doesn't come to that, but I've got to structure my existence around my expectations. So, it's your reality as well. So, would love a card. So, everybody's still here because I don't always keep up with the things. You know what I'm like a rabbit. And this was the idea, like a chit chat. I will get through as many as I can. So, stick around, because even if I'm not keeping up with the comments, I will do my level best to get everybody that's asked for a reading, because I should be on till about 7, I reckon, because I haven't had any tea yet. And I like a brew as well. For those of you that come and catch me regularly, I live my life by the kettle. Right. So for you, Kelly, we have got the High Priestess. So this is one of the cards where I have to wrap my goofy teeth around it, because she is the mistress of mysteries and secrets yet to be revealed. So she's the mistress that brings in the excitement and the upliftment, and she floats easily between the earthbound and the esoteric. So when this lady's coming in, so we start to look at things that we've not previously tapped into. We look at our untapped potential. We look at what level we want to step up to. Now, as I know you know the energies that I always bring in and around you, because Mum's lovely energy as she comes in there. But I also want to bring in a gentleman, and I'm not quite sure who this gentleman is. I don't know when he left. I have a feeling it's fairly recent, so it could be Dad's energy. But at this moment, I'm not 100% sure. But Dad's energy when he's in and around, or the gentleman there, that he's. The way that he's coming across in Monkey FM up there is he could be a bit of an awkward bugger at the time, but what he's just saying, it's just lads. I was just a bit of a lad. Nothing was too serious. It was all tongue in cheek. And I think towards the end of his time, he got a little bit depressed in the sense of that he just couldn't be that laid back anymore. It got more about his health and his inability to do one or two things. And then that got him frustrated, because he would be the first one to sort of come across and give people a little bit of upliftment and a little bit of what I call chout, which is just like pushing them along, a little bit of cheek and a little bit of chatter and just getting them uplifted. And like people on here laughing at my experiences, he'd be the sort of person that would tell you a daft joke or a daft gag or anything, or one of his stories to give that upliftment. And he's coming in and he's telling me that you're doing a fine job. But again, and we have this conversation regularly every time we talk, look to distribute it as well. Don't always be that one that everybody goes to. And it's one of my comments that I say regularly: learn the word no at times. It's not being nasty or negative, but just every now and again, put yourself first, which is what I'm aiming to do with this year, because apparently the numbers match up with a 9, and a 9 is working towards completion this year. So completing things that need sorting, getting rid of things that are no longer productive, but just getting them out of the way so that we can venture into that new dawn. And as I say, second time I mentioned it tonight, new year, new me. Well, I don't have any of that, because at any time of the year, you are in the right place to make changes. So I always look at right and divine timing with that. So The high priestess there is propelling you to higher heights. And when I gave this last night, and I've looked back on this little bit in particular, like sometimes I've said before, and I'm not saying this lightheartedly, I'm absolutely convinced that I've got ADHD, and we're looking as a family that there's probably traits of autism within it in us as well. As there's some of the things that we say when we get together, you're just going, oh my God, you know, did that really come across that way? And I've spent a lifetime apologizing for my bluntness and directness. But I'm not doing that anymore. If you're going to come to me and you see one of these things, please be advised that you may well be offended or by my blunt and direct attitude. And the reason that happens is because I don't know how to dress it up. I'm not very good with flowery words. You know, you see something in front of you, you've asked your direct opinion, you give it. So this card, we've got the the 8 of swords. And it's all about your thoughts, your mindset, and what you're imprisoned by, what you're chained up by. And I start to look for clues in these tarot cards. You look at the swords that surround it, which is all about the mind, the intellect. You look at blue, which is all about the throat chakra and communication. She's got a blindfold on. So this is telling you a story. There's somebody there that's caged in their own mind with something. Right? You may be being asked for your opinion. You may be being asked what you think is the right thing. But you're amassing all of this information, all of this energy, all of this frequency, and not letting it out one way or the other. So when people get like agitated and frustrated that they're not doing enough or they're not confident and all of this sort of stuff, it's all in their head. It's all self-generated. So when I see this card, my advice and my guidance always is cut free. Take those chains off. Anything there that she's wrapped up in there, all of those chains are self-perpetuated. She's put them there. They're an anchor. Right. But if we take the blindfold off and actually look at our reality, it's quite often that when we see something in the shadows, that it's a lot more fearful than when we shine a light on it. I was talking a lot last night when I did the one about night terrors and things like that. The answer to most night terrors is switch the light on, take a few deep breaths, and then have a look round to have a look to see what it is that we're facing. And more often than not, and I've said this so many times over the years, we live in a 98 and 2% world. 98% of the shit that we think of doesn't happen, and the 2% that does, we deal with it. And from what you've been through over the last couple of years, you're a past master in getting through shit. So best of luck to you, and enjoy your year, because it is your time, but you've got to make time for yourself to be able to experience that. Okay. Right. Keep telling me that you're still there, guys, and we'll get through as many as we can. Tracy, right, here we go. Again, I say the name, and this is like when I do a reading for people, I do the same opening up procedure that I do for shows, for events, any talks that I'm doing. And the fact those cards have fallen out, that's an easy pick. As I put the name out to the universe. So if you're having a half an hour reading with me, about 10, 15 minutes prior to, I put your name out there. And imagine having a tennis ball in your hand, and you throw the tennis ball out to the universe and it comes back and you catch it. Right. And on there is written a message. So as soon as I threw the tennis ball out for your name, Tracy, there, I got the energy around my throat, and there's just this sense of you needing to cut loose. There's just a feeling of utter frustration around you. And I don't know what's going on around your back, but back, when I look at backs, then they're quite symbolic. If you've got literal back pain, then you have my sympathy. But what I'm talking about is the energy around your back. And when we're around the lower back, this may be around financial issues, or it may be quite equal because it's the base of the spine. You're not feeling supported in something. So there's something there that I feel needs open and honest communication. My guide is talking about there's something there that you're not ready for, but you're being dragged along or pushed along at a speed that you're not comfortable with. And this is where I was saying to Kelly, there's just times in life where you just have to turn around and go, like, with all due respect to you, just no, stop. Right? I'm not ready, or I haven't got the answer. Because I've found it a couple of times over the years where family members and people there that come to me, and I'm usually got a word, because as you know, speak 19 to the dozen. But I've had to say over this last year, particularly with my mental health being the way it was, do you know what? I ain't got all of the answers. Sometimes I can offer the support, I can offer that sort of being there type of thing where you can lean on me because I'll always be there for the people that I care about. But I haven't always got the answers. Right? They're not always productive because everybody out there, and I don't care how good you are and how strong you are, has their own shit to process. They really do. So it's one of those for me that if somebody says to me, right, what do you think? Be prepared that I will vocalize it. My sense is with you, Tracy, is at the moment that you are doing too much peacekeeping. Okay, so my sense is there. Don't be peacekeeping all of the time. Speak your truth. Okay. Right, there we go. Let's see where we're going. Right, just going back here. Does sound like my dad. Well, that's always really good. There does sound like you, but this is good, isn't it? When they connect in, right. Let me just. I've got. Right, I've got a whopper on here as usual. Right, so let's just block those, and we'll block that one, just so that you're not. But because what I've also decided to do is not get bogged down in all of this, because they get on here and they siphon my attention. So I'm just taking these off, guys. I apologize for this. Just bear with me a second while I just get rid of these, because it doesn't matter how many times that you put this in there. It is quite difficult. So I will go through in the end. So apologies if anybody there is in there. Right, let me just get rid of that. See, you just get inundated with them. Right, I'm just getting back to my comments here where I was. Right, Tracy passed away a year today. Oh, bless you. I give you, it's one of them things that you sit here and you go, oh, bless. But unless you're actually experiencing and in that moment, grief is individual. So all I can do is just send out my thoughts and my prayers to you, and hope that your journey through that grieving process is what's the right way, as free from turbulence as it can possibly be. And I know that that's maybe a bit of a throwaway comment, but I genuinely mean that, because again, like I was just saying there, I haven't always got the answers to how you deal with the grieving journey, because it's so incredibly personal. Wow. Well, thanks very much for tuning in. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Right. So as we're doing that, I missed somebody there, didn't I? I started doing a reading and then got distracted. Right, I'll put them cards to one side. And if you remind me who it was that I got distracted from reading, then I will go back and by all means, I will read that. We've got somebody on from YouTube. So welcome, Juliet. Thank you very much. And I will go back here before I get distracted even further, and I will do you the card reading as promised. Apologies again for the scammers and the spammers, and I'll just address you direct. If you're looking at this and you're that good, do it on your own fucking channel, right? Don't leapfrog on mine. I'm a little guy that is doing my level best to do something that's genuine. If you feel the need to hop on and do that, then you're a sad person in the extreme. You're not helping anybody, so sod off, right? And I make no apologies for my poor language. These people are the bane of my life when it comes to doing it. And you have a direct effect on me wanting to come on here, because the genuine people don't want your shit, right? They're not interested in your crap. If there was, they'd come and find you. So hop on, whoever you are or whatever you're pretending to be, jog on and find some sort of substance to your life where you ain't got to piggyback on other people. Bit of a Victor Meldrew style rant there, but do you know what? This is me, and I couldn't give a shit. Right, sorry. Back to that. Let's get past the ranting stage. Let's get back to doing something productive. Right. So, Michelle, hopefully you're still on here, and I will keep scrolling back to these cards as I'm going through. There we go. Right. I'll keep scrolling back. I mean, I'm on StreamYard as well, so hopefully they'll let me scroll back through. So I don't actually see all of the comments until the end, but I will always acknowledge them, so that if you guys do want to go back through a replay and I've missed anything, then I will just go and take off all of the shit comments on there, so that you've got like a free run at it. So 2 of 1s, right? So 2 of 1s. So the thing is about this is about choices and decisions. This is about what you're passionate about. This is about, as the old Bucks Fizz song, and you said you're from Canada, so I'm testing your knowledge here a little bit. You might have to go and look up Bucks Fizz, making your mind up. So we're looking at this pathway of choice, as I was calling it. I do not like the term crossroads, because for me that drums up that somebody else has got to make the decision for me. So when I get the 2 of 1s, this is about choices, and choices are changes. As I said earlier on in the broadcast, that the 1s are all about the passion and the fire. So this is again about building. This is about putting foundations down and making choices. So over the course of these next 6 weeks, you've got some decisions to make. And I said to somebody the other day when I was doing a reading, like, be prepared that over this next couple of months that you may well knock somebody off. They may well come back with, well, that's not what you usually do. Well, my answer to that is great, right? Come out of the comfort zone, come out there blazing, come out there flying, do and be what you need to be, do what you need to do. So as soon as I see this card, this is about business, partnerships, what you're aligning yourself with. Right. I look at this as sort of beginning energy with things. Right. If it's not to your taste and not to your liking, right, look at which direction that you're going to go in for yourself and form your own path. Just because there's 2 choices there, don't mean to say that you have to take either one of them. Forge your path that you want to follow, and then put your effort into it, and then make sure you follow through with it. Got the Ace of Cups there. The Ace of Cups there for me is the new relationship card. And if you're with a partner or anything like that, it's all about raising that vibration up to that next level and working together and seeing what energy that you pour into it together. If it's the stage where you're looking for a new relationship, then this is the ideal time to start pouring into your cup what you want in your emotional settings. There's a newness. It may well even be that it's just something in your mindset that you might lack confidence. You might have you might be looking at things where you're pulling yourself down or something like that. It just needs a different chatter. It just needs a different viewpoint. So maybe this new relationship's just about how you treat yourself. So going back through, and we'll keep trying to keep up with these comments, because I want to acknowledge everybody that comes on, and I'll just keep deleting them, these idiots, as I go along. Anything for me, Crystal? I would absolutely love reading. Yep, so we've done that. Yes, another fantastic reader coming on here. So we've got Christina. So I don't know whether she's doing as much now on YouTube as she was, but check out her page on Embracing Aging. Please feel free to post your link, Christina, if you would like. And we're really getting through some absolutely wonderful readers. And I'm just going to highlight this name before I disappear. Right. Absolutely brilliant. I pride myself on being blunt, right, and dead straight up. And this lady encouraged me right at the beginning when I first started on some of the bigger shows. If you want bluntness, you want directness, you want humor, you want to work with stunning, sparkly energy, go and book up to see Kirsty in a show. Operates mainly around the Chesterfield area. So if you just go and check out her pages there, I'll big her up because I think she's absolutely brilliant. Because I get on with people that are straight John Bull, that tell you the truth. No bullshit, no twinkles. They just tell you how it is. And I respect that. So she's put on here, you ain't getting rid of me. Good. Matt, that is my truthful answer to that. So good. Right, 2 cards for you that's just coming out there. So I've got the strength card for you. Right, we'll just go back to where I was. I've lost myself again. Yeah, there was that. Yes, Christina. There we go. So strength. Now, this for me, I know what it traditionally means in tarot, and being a reader yourself, you will understand this. It's all about mastery of the feminine over the masculine. So it's working together in conjunction with all sorts of different levels of people. Now, what I added to this card was my thoughts about when people come to you and they know that you're a certain person, so if you're a listener, if you're a doer, if you're a solver, they know that they can come and dump their emotional crap on your doorstep and you will pick it up and you'll sort it out. You'll give them the upliftment. This is my emotional vampires card to a point where we've got to get disciplined against them, because I'll help anybody out in every situation that I possibly can. But I'm not on call 24 hours a day. And that person's got to want to make those changes. So when I look at this card here, this is about boundary setting as well, right? And I'm not quite sure whether it means sort of parking the line outside your front door to stop the feckers getting in. But my sense is with this is like, if you go up to a dog, and I've said this so many times before, if you go up to a dog that you don't know, it will give you an indication some way or another whether you can get closer to it. So if it don't bite you for a kickoff, you think, well, all right, I should be all right with this. I should be able to go and pet it, give it a fuss. If, however, it starts to go like that, then something rattles off in the brain. Right, am I safe to go and touch this dog and have a fuss with it? Now, most people, when they see that as a warning, will back off because they're not welcome. Trouble is with people that it often takes more than because if they don't get the hint, well, this is what I've said to people. Right, I've warned you off. I've given you a word. I've told you directly, please don't engage me in this because I'm not interested. But the trouble is when you're a nice person in general, you will keep saying this about boundaries and not letting people come close, but you will keep moving backwards to accommodate them. So at some point, we might need to have a little bit of a snap and a snarl to set the boundaries and planting our feet there to let these people know that they can't take advantage of you or take the piss. Well, I don't feel that you get that much aggravation around you, but again, it might be your own thoughts in your own mind that's stopping you from like recognizing when something's crap. And this is what I've been talking about for the last few weeks to myself, by the way, because I haven't really been on here to do this. Is that it's my mindset that's stopping me from going forward, not circumstances. So it's sometimes the narrative that we put into our head about what's right and what's wrong sometimes just needs looking at and changing. But if you put boundaries in place with other people, then they can't come back and slag you off because you've already told them. Tell them how it is. Straight John Bull. This is how it's going to be. If you're part of my life, great. But understand there's limits to what I can do and what I want to do. Right? And they're the boundaries. King of Cups there is the king of the emotions. So we're looking at a masculine energy there. We're looking at cups. I've got a gentleman's energy around you in the spirit world. Comes through a little bit of unsure of himself when it comes to talking, but one of those that I feel that when you work with his energy, what few words he does say would stick. He's not about love and that sort of lovey-dovey, but he says rarely for him he's going to offer you a cuddle. So take it while it's being given, I feel there. So the King of Cups, though, I look at the kings as the masculine energy. So there's maybe an emotional situation there where we don't need to really embrace it, but we do need to deal with it and sort of take charge in that sort of masculine way. So give people the directive, give the expectation, put them on notice that this is the way that it's got to be. And look at how you're fueling it. The orange is all about the sacral chakra, and the sacral chakra is all about fueling and energy, and it is how you're going to propel yourself forward. And as I said numerous times last night, depending on the fuel that you put in your fuel tank, whether it's current, good, uplifting energy or bad memories or things like that, will entirely dictate on which direction that you end up coming out of. So no shit fuel, no old ideas, no traumas or anything like that. Using fresh fuel as you are at this current moment in time, and then going out there and kicking some ass. I hope that makes sense. Right, Mandy Scott. People will come to you if they need you to. That's why we're all different. Don't change for anyone and be you. Absolutely 100%. Right, just keeping up with the time there. I've got behind as usual. Hi, I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Michelle, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Keep going through here. Good afternoon, happy new year. And right, okay, thank you for coming on there. Divine Empathic Tarot. Right, and I feel like I'm under test. Right, I'm not like the conventional reader, if you like. I've had the training of the traditional meanings, and I started out with the Rider-Waite cards. I just like the intuitive side. So I'm a storyteller essentially. So when you work with these cards, is right, what is the story that the tarot card is trying to tell you? And I'm not one for spreads because do you know why? I never took the time to learn them. So it's just they're a tool or almost like a key. So my background was a prison officer, so I was familiar with opening doors a lot with keys. And this is how I visualize and sense tarot cards. And this is where I just go, like, I trust spirit, the universe, whatever it is you want to know it as, to give me the right information, the right keys to open the lock. So when you look at whether this is a good message or a bad message, I'm truthful, it doesn't concern me. I'm not based on ego. I just pass on what I'm being given. So in some way or another, I've got the Ace of Cups there. There's a new pathway opening up that will lift your emotional spirits. Now, as I say, whether it's a relationship, whether it's work, or whether it's professional, there's just something there. And I'm coughing there again. So as I'm working around that energy there's something that you need to get solved, get off your chest, and put there things in the beginning. So it's my senses. It's like having a toolbox that you need to make a little bit lighter. So there's lots of skills, there's lots of things that you can utilize going on around you, but not all of them are going to be needed over these next few months. So when I'm seeing this pathway, with it being a new relationship in some way or another, right, if I was to say to you, right, tomorrow morning you've got to be packed to go for a trip to do whatever work it is that you do, you would prioritize what you can put into that suitcase over these next few hours before you catch your plane or you start your journey. This is what my sense is going on around you going into this new year. So maybe a business opportunity, maybe a change of new job, but everything that you've accumulated won't be going with you because it won't be needed. What you're looking for, I feel, is coming closer than what you expect. So I hope this transfers across humor wise, but basically have a spare pair of knickers and a suitcase ready to go when you shouted, and then everything else just sort through it as you need it. But anything there that's like holding you back, that's a bit of an anchor or an energy vampire, it's time to cut that free and move forward. And you've got the Knight of Cups there. So we're looking at new relationships and we're looking at high emotional intensity. So whatever's going on over these next few months, you may get caught up in a whirlwind of events, but it'll all be positive once the dust has settled. And there was just that memory link going through my head there with the Wizard of Oz as Dorothy's tapping her shoes going, there's no place like home, there's no place like home. So my sense with that is that you will travel, but if things don't go right, keep your base wherever you are, because like it's saying there's no place like home. Right, okay. Let me just keep up with these and just hope that I'm yeah, we'll just keep, because there's quite a lot of people coming in. Right, yeah. Thank you, guys. Let me just go back here and just doing my best to keep up with the things. But I've watched people that got more experience than me, and thankfully I ain't got that many comments coming in. So I ain't got as much as like that they've got to contend with. So I'll just do my best. I try and get through as many as I can do. Say I'll be on here for another sort of 10-15 minutes or things like that, and then I'll be ready for my cup of tea. Right, so where are we? Shuffling the cards. I get all sorts running through my head when I'm working, it does make me laugh. Right, where we're going. Hi, anything for me, please? Right, let's see where we're going for you. Now, ladies just coming into my mindset, and I'm one of these, and I think this is probably my problem with my mediumship. I see all of these wonderful readers that come on and all of these people that put a show on, and in my stupid addled head, I'm convinced that they've got somebody that stood in that corner and they're relaying that message across to them, and they're literally seeing them. Right? Some people, and there are a small percentage of mediums that do actually see that. Other people get senses, get feelings, but I want the whole package. I'm that desperate to please people and get, that make it right for them, that if you're suffering from sadness or anything like that, and you don't get it, right? Or I don't get it. So what I get is somebody steps in and goes, hello, I'm here, right? So we're going to start from that. Hello, I'm here. I feel it's a lady's energy. I feel that she was, and I'm going to say this borderline because she can't be as obsessed as what she's making out there with cleaning and tidying and making everything just right. So there's that sense of her that everything needs to be neat, tidy, and spot on, and that element of perfectionism. And I've said many, many times before when I'm doing my work, perfectionism doesn't exist. It's as close to it as you can get sometimes, but it doesn't exist. So remember that if perfect is the only destination that you're going to want to end up at, then sadly you're going to miss most of your life going by trying to get that bit better. You're going to be chasing the tail for the rest of your life. So do you know, sometimes, and it took me a lot of years to realize that sometimes good enough is good enough, as long as you've not shortchanged anybody or ripped somebody off or anything like that. There's that sense there that not everything in life is pristine. So I'm just asking you to ease that pressure on yourself there, Michelle. Just let the brakes off a little bit. Let the handbrakes off. Stop holding yourself up to that such a high thing. It's almost like you've put this pedestal up there and then you're trying to scramble and crawl and climb your way up there, but it's not truthfully you. It's just exhausting you. So over the course of this year, not saying slack off, because nothing's ever achieved for me without hard work unless you're intensely lucky. But then there's that school of thought that everybody makes their own luck. So my sense is with you, just back things off a little bit. Don't be so intense. Do what your own thing is, right, by all means. But every now and again, realise that life does throw these odd things at us, these curveballs at us, because that's the lesson that we need to learn. Once that lesson's learned, then the truth path can often not open up. And it's like I say this constantly. If you'd have said to me 2012 that this would be my future in the next sort of 13 years as we're approaching now, then I would have laughed at you. I would have thought you were absolutely mental, because I'm very much a black and white kind of guy. And then seeing my granddad in spirit form on a building site where I was working, just by chance, as far as I'm concerned, changed the course and the direction of my life. Now, did I plan that? Absolutely not. Right? There's a series of synchronicities, and once you start to notice the synchronicities in your life, then that can have a direct bearing on the direction of your life as well, because it might be something that you've not consciously thought about. Anyway, I'm off on a tangent as usual. Right. So 8 of Swords that came out earlier on. So a lot of these concerns and troubles and worries, you're sabotaging yourself. You're sticking yourself in that place where you're surrounded by what if. And as an NLP practitioner, we don't deal with what ifs. We only deal with things as they're there in place. If there's something there that needs dealing with, then by all means, take whatever steps necessary to get shit sorted. Sorry to put it so bluntly, but don't be captured by your own thoughts. Don't be enslaved by your own thinking. Get into your own reality. Right, what is facing me? Is that the life that I actually want to lead? Is that the decision that I want to make? If it looks anything like it, then keep doing it. If there's reason why you can't do it, if there's something there that is genuinely an obstacle or a blockage that you can't deal with, park it. And then look at what your next step is, because life is all about making that constant step and that constant evolution. So, and what we hold back by, we've got the devil there. And the devil is about overindulgence. It's about, again, it's almost like with this, but like physically burning yourself. It's what you're enslaved to, what you're chained to. It's what you're, it's sometimes what you're not doing. And in a sense, not trying to be anything clever or anything like that. It's sometimes that we're refusing to accept the truth of what is. So we'll mask it, or we'll overindulge in something just to distract us from that current thing. So when the devil comes in, it's just like, right, I'm going to confront you, devil. You're the thing that's stopping me having an happy life, or it's X, Y, Z that's stopping me. Right, I'm no longer going to tolerate it. So it's time to move forward. Right. Sometimes we have to shake hands with the devil, and there'll be people on here that will move around the circuit like I do, that you don't always get on with everybody. But sometimes you have to find a way around them, through them, so that you can move forward. And if it's yourself that you're negotiating with, that's the good thing, because you can set all of the rules. Right? You can set what the cost is. And I say, with being a pain avoider, I always look at what the cheapest costs, what is the easiest, most direct route to get to where I need to be. And if I start thinking stupid thoughts that haven't any basis or foundation, then I can't blame anybody but myself. And then I have to give me head a wobble every now and again, or go to Mrs. P and she'll give me head a wobble, and then we work through it. So, there we go. Let's see that. Thank you. So I hope that made a bit of sense for you. I hope that you're having a wonderful day. Yeah. Good. I'm assuming that means piss myself laughing. If it don't, then I'm in the shit. But there you go. Not seen any. Right. So the reason is I didn't sulk or anything like that. I put a lot of effort last year into doing YouTube. And the idea was that it would promote my work, but it would also help people. The take up on it was very low. And I'm not au fait with all of the stuff that you've got to do and put the amount of effort in that is required, because it's not only putting the content out there, it's the editing, it's the thumbnails and all of that sort of thing. The people that are dedicated, that draw big numbers, spend huge chunks of their life sat behind this thing, right? And that is not my want. Right? I don't have enough patience or enough maturity to sit there thinking how I'm going to attract that person in. I want you to meet me, have a conversation. You'll either have a reading off me, or we'll have an interaction that will help make you change your thoughts or things like that. And I just went, I'm wasting my time here because it was falling short. Now, when you look at that, when you're falling short, I had people there that were helping and advising and guiding me. But if I'm not prepared to put the amount of effort into it that they do, I can't reach that standard. And I'm saying I haven't got that wherewithal or that energy. So I gradually withdrew because I was getting disappointed. And what happens to me is when I get disappointed, I don't blame anybody or anything like that. I just retreat. There's part of me that is that sulky little kid. And because I didn't get what I wanted from it, which was work or even acknowledgement of the work that I was doing, got very little of it. So I didn't take it down or anything like that, because I stand by all of the work that I've done. It's just I hadn't got the steam or the stamina, as well as dealing with mental health issues, to keep that going forward. So the channel will still be open, and it will be one of those times there that every now and again, if I come up with something that I feel like I need to get off my chest or pass on or do the lives as I'm doing them now and then I'll do it. But I'm not going to have that drive towards it that I had last year, because I fell short. And it's not a nice feeling when you feel like you've let yourself down. So I just backed off from it. So I'm still here. My details haven't changed. I've gone away. I'm still passionate about working with spirit, but just not in that way that I was with that. All right, so let's keep going through here. Idiots. Yep, agreed. Cheryl, let's see where we're going right now. Cheryl. Let's go. I hope you're still here, guys. I'm just going to scroll through to a few of these comments here just to. I know it makes sense. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Yeah, Kirsty, if you're still on, I appreciate. I'm running a little bit behind there now, and just double checking that. Oh wow, yeah, that's great. That's good news, isn't it? Just to let you know that I had a great year last year displaying my art, and I even got some of my pictures sold on the loan. That's amazing. Now, what I'm saying is, I'm not sulking over the fact that I had a bad year mentally. Do you know what it led me to? I was having a word with my missus, and she's got this habit of putting things into perspective with me. I did struggle, and I'm not going to lie about that. There were times where I felt like I was going to break down. But what I can truthfully say to you is that as I'm sat in front of you here and now, I'm not the perfect finished product or anything like that. But everything, and I mean everything, went into my business and doing what I could with my work last year. Even though if I'd got like 80% energy to give to everything that I did, and there were some times where that's all I'd got to give, I gave it, right? I turned up. I did my work. Was I always feeling at my best when I was out on stage and things like that? Absolutely not. But the key is darkness, shit times are temporary, right? And if you can get through them and still raise a smile at how bloody awkward life can be and how difficult you can be, as long as you wake up in the morning with your eyes open, you can make changes and alterations. So my overwhelming thing about last year is gratitude to me for actually showing up and staying the course, because there really were times, if it weren't for the fact of my wife supporting me, I would have just packed it up. I'd have just given up, because I just had enough of not getting what I needed out of that thing, which was people to make changes, and help people and support people. And I just wasn't feeling it. So, but I turned up for everything and I gave it a go, and that's all you can ask for. So really proud of you that you managed to get what you needed out of that. So great. Whereabouts was I? I've lost track as usual. I want to thank you for that reading. Thank you very much. Thanks, Kirsty. I'll keep scrolling back through, guys, just to make sure that I'm catching up. Right. I hope you're still here, Kirsty. I hope you stayed the course, because I say I'm going to come off in a few minutes because I'm getting a bit parched and I didn't bring a brew up with me, and I've whacked the heating on. Tight your ears, put the heating on, because here's another weird thing. Like, Zoe goes out to work and works full time, and I'll sit in a cold house because in my stupid head at times, you don't go out to work and do a proper job, so you can't have the heating on because you can't afford to pay for it. Like, how fucked up is that? So we've had discussions about that. So I'm sat in here tonight. I haven't done a lot of readings over the last few weeks, but I need to keep warm. You need to look after the vessel that at times when it's called upon is going to be needed to be topped up with having a drink and nutrition and things like that. You've got to look after the vehicle that's going out there and doing that. And if that means that you're going to be a couple of quid lighter in pocket, and so be it. Self-care, welfare, looking after yourself and your self-esteem and how you are is very, very important. And it should be more important than what everybody that's watching this, than anything that you're currently going through. Looking after the self. So make yourself a priority. Oh, bloody hell, it sounds like I'm going on a right lecture here, isn't it? I'll be Victor Meldrew again in a minute, but there we go. So something going on around you, Kirsty, if you're still around here, and I hope you catch up on this. The moon for me is all about illusions and deceptions, and this did come out last night. So when I'm looking at this is looking into the shadows. Now, I know that you're a fiery, passionate person. Now, what I'm going to say to you, and I'm coming not from my experience of a reader, I'm coming from my experience of life in working in the prison service and what I've absorbed and observed of people's behaviour. There are a set of people in the world that are called what I call shy talks, right? They think they're above you and they fly around dropping shit over anybody. And anybody that it sticks to, they take this delight in reacting to it. Right, I've got a reaction. Right, I'm going to throw some more out, see what sticks. And they're the shit stirrers of this world. They're the shit stirrers in life. Now, my feeling is when this moon thing's coming out, there's shadows and things being cast around you to almost provoke you into responding to something. Right. Now, what I know about you is you're a unique individual character. I know that I've experienced it. I've watched it. Right. Stick to your guns with it. Right. But instead of being fiery and stepping forward and defending yourself, take 2 or 3 steps back and imagine that there's an alarm bell going off where there's an incident somewhere. It's within the periphery. There's an incident of something going on somewhere. Now, when the alarm goes off in the prison service, everybody runs towards whatever that incident is. But what I was taught over the years is just before you start running and you react, just have a look what the distraction might have been there for. So the incident might be easy to resolve very, very quickly if we go piling in. But the bigger prize will be when we take a step back and just watch what the shy talks are doing. Who's stirring, who's rousing people, who's putting things out there. And what I used to do was I'd just watch, get involved where I needed to get, but then track down these people that are doing that and go, right, you've said, you've done, right, you've got this chance as an adult to sit with me and tell me what that's about, right? If you fuck with me or mess me about or anything like that or lie to me, we're done. Right? No qualms about it. I'm giving you the opportunity, and it's a free pass. It's almost like offering a boxer a free punch. But if you don't take up on that, do not ever come back around me and accuse me of anything, because I'm giving you the opportunity to tell me your truth, to call me out on anything that I've done, and I will give you a straight and honest answer, because I have said this countless times. I'm not a fan of the elephant in the room moment. So if I feel awkwardness or I feel discomfort, I'm going to go to that person. I've heard that this has been said. What can you say to me? And then if they're adult and or they've got the balls enough to turn around and tell you the truth, then you've got a decision to make. You can either put up with the crap, or you can just ditch it in the effort bucket and move forward. So I hope that makes a bit of sense for you, Kirsty, because I say the moon for me, illusions, deceptions, shining the light on fears and the shadows. It's one of those things that we don't leap into action just at the moment, because we've got to kind of like wait for the mist to clear on something. Professionally, you're flying, and I don't know whether I'll be sorry to say this for you, or whether you want to hear this. You're going to be a lot busier this year as well with shows. And I also feel that there's TV or something bigger in the background for you. Don't just jump on it. Just read all the fine print, if that makes sense. Probably your time of development to say to you that there's a new guide coming in. There is a new guide, but I'm feeling more shamanic with this one. So you'll know better than me what they're hanging around for at the moment. I don't feel like they can get in at the moment, but they are going to come in as the year progresses. And then we've got the Queen of Wands, which is, I feel this time is spiritually connected. So we've got the lady in the spirit world that's just a sweetheart. She comes in and all she wants to do is bring in that love. So Wands for me, fire, passion, practical. She was the queen of the suits that would keep the home fires burning. She's like the housewife, and I don't want to be stereotypical with that, but just wants to make everybody happy. Would make do with threadbare and anything, as long as the family and everybody was safe and secure. She just sends her love. And she's telling me at the moment, I don't know whether you've got a chest issue or you've got a cold or something on that. You need to wrap up warmer, duck. You need to keep these covered. You need to keep these covered. Now, I don't know what that means. And if you've seen this, Kirsty, please don't shoot the messenger. Okay. Oh, dear. Right. What was that one say? Just yeah, we've done that one, haven't we? Yep. Right. You work from that. Right. Do you know, I'm not one of these that's very good at taking compliments. So when somebody's paying me a compliment, I'm going to acknowledge it, because what I normally do is this, because I see myself as a servant. But this year is going to mark that change. Kevin said it's right. So I work from the heart and give you your soul. It might not look like it was acknowledged or celebrated at the time, but it's a seed planted and good things are coming. I'm proud of you. Bless you. I really genuinely appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Right. So we've got to block this one. Block user and there, because Tarot Destroyer. Right. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with YouTube, and I'm only just learning, I'm on the tip of the iceberg with this. Tarot Destroyer comes on and gets in the comments and will send you all sorts of spam and shit like that. But what I was told, because I got quite irritated and agitated, precisely what I was telling you not to do, and I reacted. They only come in when they start recognizing that it's more of a computer generated thing, right? So when they come in, that means the algorithm on YouTube is starting to pick up on you. They're starting to notice you. And the say that Tarot Destroyer is a hacker and a I don't know what you actually call them, and just a shy talk from somebody else's channel. But the fact that they've followed that person to me, now I'm going, right, okay, what are you going to do to me? Right? Because this working out, you guys are what is most important with my spiritual work. So if tomorrow they turn around and go, right, you're off YouTube, you're off Facebook, done. Right, it's been an experience, thank you. Right, and a hacker or whatever it is that they are ain't going to stop me from going. It will just cut down my ways of accessing things. But for the last 8 years, I've been crafting a reputation where I've gone up and down the country, and it's not based on Facebook. It's not based on that false world of social media. It's based on face-to-face readings with people, face-to-face appearances, real life conversations. So these idiots that sit there in the, I'm going to whack you and take this shit off you, right? Fucking crack on, right? You can't stop what I've already done, because my simple answer is I just come off Facebook. It's just really that simple, because I'm 52. I'm a simple-minded bloke, right? And I give everything that I can give. But when I've got nothing left to give, what do? You just stop, don't you? Because once something's finished, that is when the next pathway is opening up. So all of these people that sort of stop you, whatever it is, it might be something extreme, right? Okay, just thank them, right? Because it may be that time there where they've just gone, you can go no further, or you're not going down this path. All right, fair enough. So what's next? So all of these people that, this is my luck, and, bemoaning the luck and things like that. Okay, right. So just stick to your decisions, stick to your guns. And then whatever's next, then you start to focus on it. You start to shine a light on it. So don't worry about shit like that. Right. You're spot on. I don't react because I don't give a shit about anybody else. Yeah, I agree with you. You're an amazing person as well. You're a very gifted person. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. Just please, right. We'll stay on for a little bit because I'm like that. Right. Let's try and catch everybody and say I am getting a little bit desperate for a cup of tea, but I said I would do this and get this sorted. Mrs. P's gone out for an exercise program, and because I'm such a family man, I like working around, when my wife goes out. I've got all day to do pretty much what I want around here because I'm not the busiest. So again, quick plug for me with the work that I do. That I do readings at home on StreamYard, Messenger, and if you're close enough to Lincoln, then doing readings in there, £35 for 30 to 40 minutes with the tarot and the story and the intuition side of things, where we're looking at NLP, hypnotherapy, and all of that sort of thing, which helps you structure your thought patterns and observations of whatever's going on around you intuitively. Spiritual counselling or coaching, whatever you want to know it as, then that's £50 for an hour. And that's as much as I'll plug at you. It's just to let you know that that's what I do. Right. Oh my God, there are sadly so many people out there and so much jealousy within this work. So I bet you know who that is, Kirsty, or if it's not you, will do. Bless you. Now, this is, and it's like Kirsty's just put on there. True, genuine spirit workers will not get distracted by the egotists, right? Who said what to who. For me, when you're getting involved in that ego, you've lost the battle already, because you're given a gift. Imagine you sent a set of kit and you've got to look through it and work the instructions in. That's then got to become compatible with your own software, who you are, how you operate, what your morals, what your values is. What a person thinks about how you operate is their opinion. And here's the cruel thing. That opinion, however shitty, they're entitled to it. But what I've struggled to deal with is when I started this and come out of the prison service, I honestly thought that it would be all love and light. And oh my God, I couldn't have been any more wrong. So naive. Right. So when you sit there and somebody does another reading, people that are really good at what they do, that have been in there years, and they'll have forgotten more than I'll ever know, get jealous of you because you took £1 more than them. And I'm just going, it ain't about the money. Because as soon as you go that doing this work is primarily about the money, you're lost anyway. That's not true. That's not true spirit energy. Now, don't get me wrong. I want to earn money. I'll make no bones about it, because you wouldn't become a skilled mechanic and then somebody say to you, right, I want you to go and change that clutch for nothing, because that is absolutely ridiculous. And the vast majority of people out there can accept that. But when it comes to working with spirit and the energy and the skill that I've spent hundreds of pounds and hundreds of hours of life's hours developing, you will get the certain people that, you're defrauding people. You're taking stuff away from them. All right. I don't ask anybody to come to me. I put the advert out there, and it's like baiting the trap when you're fishing. Somebody will buy, and if they want that, if they pay for that skill and that service, they're entitled to say anything that they want. But when they start bringing in their shitty little childish tricks and trying to put you down, you start reacting. You're reacting from a place of ego. It's like a victim mentality. You're running that victim program. And I ain't nobody's victim, I can assure you. I might be daft, but I'm not stupid. There is a very big difference. And the thing is about my work when I do it is, I talk from the heart, because I don't know how to do it any different. I took all of these bits of things on with training and stuff like that. Yeah, I did. And I'm very grateful for the people that have given me the framework. But let me make this abundantly clear. And if it gets back to anybody that needs to hear this, then great. They give me the framework. They give me the foundations to put in, but I built the fucking house. Right. I built me to withstand 8 years of being on that circuit, standing on stage when all of these trainers and all of these people that have contributed aren't there. You stand in front of an audience of 1, 50, 100, 300, whatever it is that you stand up in front of, you're on your own. And that's when you've got to trust spirit. Right. So all of these people can have their opinions. They can think that you're defrauding them. But I can assure you, when you're up there and you're on your own, that takes bottle, it takes guts. And anybody who does that has got my respect and not envy. Anyway, again, I went off on a bit of a tangent there. Sorry about that. So Mandy's a talented reader herself. I went and did one of her events towards the end of the year. And I do hope that I get invited back, because this is another thing with me. I don't always get invited back a second time. I turn up to these things and you go, I'm giving it 100%, and the feedback comes in, and then you don't hear from them again. And I'm not one of them that's going to go crawling on my hands and knees. Did I get it 100% right? Because I know with me, I didn't. I'll have probably said something off the cuff or swearing. And I sit here, mentally preparing myself before I go on. Don't swear. But if you meet me, I swear. I don't meaningly use it every single word, because I did have a standard of education, but that's been part and parcel of my life, and it's part of the caricature that just comes out. I think a lot of it's nerves, but I do swear. And I said to one lady at a demonstration once, if you want cute and fluffy, don't go and buy a kitten. You don't want to be around me with, if you're expecting, certificate I'm PG 15, 18, because I'll say so much shit and stupid. It's not meant to offend you, but it'll always be the truth. Right. Before I get off. So 10 of wands, Mandy. 10 of wands, beast of burden card. Carrying too much responsibilities that aren't yours, being weighed down by other people's crap. So when we're at a 10, we're at the completion of a phase or cycle with something. And whether it's been good, bad, or indifferent, the end of a phase or cycle will have taught you something. So when I look at this card and I'm giving it in conjunction with others, what I tend to say with this one is, right, start to look at the load that you're carrying in your daily life. Not all of it will be yours. So every now and again, I'm going, right, I think we've dealt with this before. I think we've done this before. I think we've seen this before. That element of deja vu. Right, let's just stop here. That's yours. I'll help you, but I'm not doing it for you. So that takes one load off there. It's showing me that you're willing to carry on with things. You're willing to make that effort, but on whose behalf? Because it certainly ain't all of yours, right? So you're carrying too many people. One's, again, that fire, that passion, that thing that you do in the everyday life, right? Learn to delegate, right? Learn to tell people that, that's yours. You won't go into somewhere where you've lost something. And I always tell the story about going into the lost property office, that you've lost your handbag. Sorry, ladies, this is stereotypical because not all ladies have handbags. I know that, but this is my story and I'll tell it how I want. So you go in there and you find, you say, I've lost my handbag. And the person behind the table asks you to describe what it's like. And they go, oh, yes. We've had 3 of those handed in that sound similar. Dump. You go to the first one, you open it up and you look inside and you go, oh, wow, yeah, that's mine. Brilliant. Still got all my kit in it. It's got my cards in it, my purse, every house keys, car keys. Brilliant. What you should do is then go, thank you very much for that. then I'll take that and go away and I'll resume my day and, get over the stress and the heart attack. But what people like you do, and what a lot of other kind people do, is they go to that second bag and go, oh, bless him. I know what it feels like to learn, to like get worried, get upset and get anxious about losing your car keys and losing this, that and the other. And I wouldn't want that to happen to anybody because it's a horrible feeling. So you then spend your lovely time and energy trying to return them handbags back to other people. Now, if somebody's lost them handbags, that's their responsibility to go and look for it, not yours. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's a bit of a storyline here that don't always rush to do other people's donkey work. All right, cut yourself some slack. You're good enough as you are. Don't change to accommodate dickheads. Sorry, that slipped out, didn't it? There's some spiritual Tourette's coming in. And the Ace of Cups has come out a lot tonight. The Ace of Cups for me is a new relationship in some way or another. So whether it's like personal or professional, this is the start of something there that will give you the uplift in the feels. Okay, this gives you that good vibration. Maybe with you, having met you personally, it's maybe the way that you treat yourself. You just got to be a little bit more resolute in the fact that when daft things start coming into your head, no, I'm going to replace that by something better. So as you move forward, if you sort of work on your self-esteem and your self-confidence, that sends an entirely different vibration out that attracts a whole different set of people to you, and then you will find that other pathways open up for you. And again, not predicting or anything like that. Right. Right. Still got quite a few comments. Right. You don't need to talk about the idiots. They know. All right, I have a thing, and this is my prison service sense of humour there, Andrew, is that there are a lot of people out there that are dickheads, but don't realise. So sometimes they just need reminding, and I'm just one of them. I've got a big mouth, and if they say something stupid, I'm going to call them out on it. I can't sit quietly by in any way, shape, or form, and I'm certainly not going to sit there where somebody wants to rule the roost over me. And the reason that I don't put up with that is because I was bullied when I was younger, and it gets to a point where you overreact because you don't want to be pulled down by somebody that realistically they are beneath you. Because if you've got to attack somebody to make yourself feel better or tell them that they must do and rule their life, then that makes you a shit person anyway, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm one of these that champion the underdog because I've been that underdog all of my life. So I'm not scared to go into the darkness. I've been in there before, and I'll go there again if necessary. So yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you to a point. Right. 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 Where are we going? Oh, these are great when you get these interactions. I got some good news. My granddaughter Megan is having a baby in June. Congratulations. That'll be lovely. New life coming in there for you. Lovely. Yeah, thank you very much, Kirsty. I appreciate that. I think I'm gonna call that a day. Let's just get through the comments there. And Linda, yeah, we'll do this. We'll make Linda the last one. And thank you very much for tuning in. If I've missed anybody or cocked up or anything like that, sorry. But having this ADHD brain, foggy brain that I've got, it'll not stick with me for long, So if I've disappointed you, tune in next time and I'll have another go at it. If I'm disappointing you that much, then there'll be no point in apologising to you because you won't be here anyway. I'm just in one of those mad moods tonight. Right. So to finish up with, Spirit have decided to throw 3 cards at you, Linda. So I do hope that you're still there. And the last 3 cards as they come out here, right? So I'm not picking up anything spiritually for you at the moment. I'm just waiting to what would you call it? The Monkey FM to tune in that antennae, because my brain is now gone down to the kettle. So we're going psychic. Psychic is the vibration that you come from around the cards. Little story, quick 3 cards, and we'll see where we go from it. So your year going forward now, the year itself, so I'm told by numerology, is that numerology number 9 is near to 10, which is completion. So this year is about completing projects and basically getting into next year where things are going to be then solidified. So we're looking at sort of coming towards completion. Now, you've got a fantastic card, one of my favorite cards in the tarot deck, because if I did a quiz out there, people, it would be unlikely that they would get what my favorite card is in the tarot deck, but this is up there with them. So I have a twisted sense of humor, so my tarot deck, it would be non-traditional anyway. But you've got the Nine of Cups, and basically the Nine of Cups is cheers, congratulations, well done. Now, to take those plaudits, to take those congratulations, you've got to have done something. And to do that, you've got to structure it. So at the beginning of the year, it's that good time to plan, prep, put things into place, have a look at stuff that you want to do, have a look at stuff that you've done but now needs chucking in the effort bucket because it's now become a distraction or an obstruction. And then look at if you need any tools or things like that that are bringing in. So, for instance, if you're looking at training or you're looking at promotion, you're looking at practice or things like that, then you look at what you need to start this journey. But the signs are all good when you get this card, because it's just saying that you're going to come to a point towards the end of the year where you're going to be in that place where you're going to be recognised for what you've done. So it's an exciting time to be in. And when I look at that, I honestly, truthfully believe that the world at large owes you bugger all. You've got to scratch and claw for everything, unless you, like I said earlier, are extremely lucky. And that has not been my storyline. So everything that I get has to be earned. So that needs structure. Right? But then again, I throw into the mix that my oddness, my weirdness, that I'm not very good with routine. So I then have to realise that I might have to structure it in a slightly different way. But if I was getting that, however I do it, is how I'm going to fuel it, right? Because the orange is all about the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra is all about that fuel room. It's the fuel tank. So what fuel are you going to put in there? What effort are you going to put into enhancing your life? Ace of Wands. So the Ace of Wands, I look at this card, and it's so simple when you look at it that you can make anything happen with your own hands. So this is a great card if you're looking at self-employment, but it's also a great card if you're looking at changing jobs or changing career paths or something like that. But you've got to have a hand in it. It's, fire is great as long as you're using it correctly. If it gets hold of you and you're angry and you're frustrated, then it'll burn your house down. If you're using it constructively, you can cook a meal, you can heat your house, you can fuel everything that you want. So this is about, for me, is about you getting your priorities straight and sort of constructing that pathway going into 2025. Final card for you, new study. Eight of Pentacles for me is that student card there, maybe getting their head down there and working out. It's a little bit of an accountancy card as well, like looking what money you've got, because Pentacles, money, finances, riches, enrichments, non-material wealth. So what you invest your time and your money in. So there's a lot of, I feel like a lot of busyness. I know that's not correct English, but a lot of busyness for you to contend with over this year, but more practically than emotionally. Now, this for me is about like college courses, extra training, extra research, whatever it is. I always see this as that sometimes we have to rob Peter to pay Paul, because we might have to take time out of leisure to do this. So it's all about balancing your life's hours with this. But Pentacles, sometimes, because they're earthbound, can be frustratingly slow. So the key word with anything to do with Pentacles when you're building something up is patience. You've got the knowledge. If you've got the fuel, the knowledge and the direction and the tools that you need, and a pathway that you know that you're capable of walking down, then success will be there at the end of that pathway. Success is never going to come to you without you working for it, unless you're extremely lucky. Right. I feel like I've gone and wandered all over the place. I've not kept to my rules or anything like that, but that's me, guys. Right? I'm honest, I'm straightforward, I tell the truth. If you liked it, please share, spread it all around, and let everybody know what a wally, that you spent an hour and a half with a wally. I'm not bothered how you word it. If you didn't like it, keep your bloody gob shut. I've got enough people that don't understand me. Me being one of them. So from me and Kevin, the manager, we'll see you at an event in the future, or we'll see you back on here. Thanks as always to YouTube and Facebook for the support and everything that you send my way. I really appreciate it. To all of the idiots and the things, I just hope they didn't spoil your enjoyment of it. Thank you very much for watching me. Good night.